Panatia bisa kutala Petikari chapevana Ukagawa zichita vakuru vakuuza kuti Mwamuna Samalila kulimila kunikuskulu Pressure singa kale excuse Ukafeluka nichimutu onadeli benzelu Mwamuna Samalila pesa kuchito panga nyumba Fakamo matapanga banja Paliponze ni ma pressure don't ever be a letdown Mwamuna Samalila koma mutima uliash chivava Isakasila liti chifugogoze kwenan Pakungu kuniuza kuti Mwamuna Samalila koma mutima uliash chivava Isakasila liti chifugogoze kwenan Pakungu kuniuza kuti Mwamuna Samalila 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 Atate wenkape nafa kuzibila wamupuzika They simply told him you're the man now, you got to make a plan now Mwamuna Samalila, Mwamuna funika ndalama Becoming everyone's provider Your happiness is not an option, duty is a function now Mwamuna Samalila, umutima muli bilhenga I take a substance to be substandard I wish I really knew what a real man is But I'll be praising God cause I'm still standing Chibaba Isakasila liti chifukokoze kwenaenda Pakungu kuniuza kuti Mwamuna Samalila koma mutima uliash Chibaba Isakasila liti chifukokoze kwenaenda Pakungu kuniuza kuti Mwamuna Samalila 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 This is the return of a prince Glory to the crown of the king You're witnessing the rise of a kingdom Let every chain be broken This is the return of a prince Glory to the crown of the king You're witnessing the rise of a kingdom Let every chain be broken Lila boy Lila boy Lila boy Let every chain be broken Lila boy Lila boy Lila boy Panatia bisa kutala Petikari chabebana Anje wafunika kuziwa Mwamuna Samalila
Every morning, I awake thinking of the one thing my heart drops to the ground for. You. The vibe of valor in your voice leaves me brainless with the things you say about God. Never do I want to move when you're here. I'll slow down time just to study your every transmission. But today is the day I cruise to the kingdom of ecstasy, where a perfect encounter awaits me. My heart is beating, my soul is screaming, my palms are heating up. It's a sign of your arrival. I'm startled in amazement like there's an intruder to behold. The show of steel, velvet and splendor, showing your perfect self on TV with boldness. Shadows worship the screen you play on. Preach to me. Embedded with good news to feed on. Can't stop smiling. I'm in love. Look at you, dipped in that Jesus swag floating in God's golden cup, and add Vashi favor to that. Finish. Playing that music of life, making me reach the sky when my knees hit the ground as you dig deep in the scriptures, gospel cruise. Like always, give me that fire, give me that flame, give me that gospel, give me that change. Lock and chain me to that God who can give me all things. Gospel cruise, wow, you've never been my first, but I intend you to be my forever. Gospel cruise for me. Gospel cruise. Eyavako.
It's the gospel cruise.
Even put his
Hey, no,
leg
at
at the
better said, relax.
at man of God, this shoe is new. Yeah, that's Mac 44 for you, eh?
Yeah,
but hey, welcome to the interview.
Good. No,
Yeah,
thanks for having me, man.
it's been a while. The last time we were together on Gospel Cruise, we were actually playing pool.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Sheesh.
been a while.
Who won?
The one who's been to the clubs more, obviously.
Bro, I used to play pool in bars when I was 14, bro.
Okay.
When I was 14.
Yeah.
I went to bars and play pool. Yeah, so no, don't it's
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Awesomeness.
Yeah.
So on the Gospel Cruise, we've made it our deal to celebrate people and just
thanks.
appreciate their works. You know, we don't want when people are gone, that's when we do a whole
you guys wanna
1
do.
hour like memories and
Tributes.
whatnot. No, like we tell you while you're alive, we're like, dude, you're happening for us.
So it's like, no, Abel's face is on the screen. Oh, gee, what did you mean to you when he was alive?
Yeah, so we want to celebrate you, bro. Like you've done a lot for the industry as a whole. You've touched a lot of people, me included, and we get a lot of requests on our Facebook page for your music, even audio. Like to be no play it. We're like, there's no video, no. Play it. You know, so
that's my fault. I just wasn't doing any videos for anything at all. Yeah.
So we celebrate you, man, and we've got also Cake Bwana to help us celebrate.
Cake Bwana.
Cake Bwana, please come through
What
with our celebration parcel for Mr. Abel Chungu Musuka.
There's a parcel. I didn't know. I was like, what's Cake Bwana doing here? Because I know this man for many years.
Yeah.
I lied to him. I told him I came to see you.
Second.
That's yours.
Oh, that's so dope.
Could just
Wow.
place it there for
Camera. Yeah,
the
man.
camera.
Oh,
Well
you
done,
guys
bro.
have made me feel special. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
man. I
Great
appreciate
work.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate your work.
Thank
Yeah.
you, man. I
He's
appreciate it.
been ranting about the fact that your music is hitting his radio show as well.
Seriously?
So,
Hey,
so
man.
yeah, he's here now.
Yeah, no, we're gonna
Yeah.
chat afterwards.
We
Yeah.
definitely have to.
Yeah.
We definitely have to.
So
No, I'm enjoying it. Actually, it's a pleasure.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
awesomeness. So you
I
guys should
feel-
also check
yeah.
out Cake Bwana on Facebook.
Wow.
Amazing cakes, amazing guy. Appreciate you. I'll bake you a cake
I'll
one
tell
day.
everybody what it tastes like.
Appreciate it, Mr. Cake Bwana.
Ah,
God
cheers.
bless you, eh?
God
Yeah.
bless you too.
Okay, awesomeness. So, yeah, that's just to say thank you for what
Wow,
you're doing
thank
for
you.
the industry.
Thank you, man.
And keep at it, man.
I'll try. As you can see, my puffy is it's tiring, but it's but it's worth it.
Okay, somebody's
is
saying
worth
they
it.
want to see.
They want to see the cake. They want to see the
Yeah.
cake. Zoom
So
in.
that's like your cake over there. It says
That
thank
is
you, Abel.
my cake.
It says thank you, Abel.
But I know 3/4 of it's gonna be eaten by my kids.
Yeah.
Every time I leave it in the fridge, I'll just see like a piece is missing.
Yeah.
Guys,
that's
yeah.
kids for you.
I'm telling
But hey, the song you just ministered, Mwamuna Samalila. That's a powerful song, man.
Thank you.
That's a powerful song.
Yeah.
How did it come about?
Whew, it's a long story. It's just from years, a lot of years, and also I tell people the story of I've had people, friends who, especially one very close friend of mine who had taken his life years ago, and you know I was having a talk about it with someone within his family, one of his siblings, and we're talking about, you know, how I even felt like I should have been there, or there's some things I should have done differently. And, you know, we were just talking about his life,
exhausting every single angle. And that's the thing about when someone commits suicide, is that it leaves us all with that hanging thing of what could I have done, where would I, what did I do differently that I should have done. And so when I was talking about, I started, and over the years, I've just been having a lot of very real conversations with men. So that was the day the melody actually came to me, the melody from Mwamuna Samalila. And when I started writing the song, it was just basically, I was like, okay, I can't just tell one story. It has to be a story that everyone, or a lot of men, nearly every man can relate with. And it starts from childhood. You know, how are we trained to feel? How are we trained to not feel? How are we built to, function in society? Because we have to understand that there is a way that men are demanded to be in society, in service to what they are needed for, which is basically mostly their family or what the community demands of them. So emotionless men are more considered more to be stronger, they are the pillar. In fact, just recently we lost a cousin of mine, and his brother was supposed to give a speech, and he started crying before he went up. And exactly, so everyone, those people gathered, you are the pillar. And I just said, leave him. I said, let him cry. Let it out. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the things that now, when you're crying, everyone has gone, and there's no one to comfort you.
True.
And you're left alone with your thoughts. So this is what Mwamuna Samalila is about. It tells the story of what you're told, that a man should not cry. So I know some people are like, Mwamuna Samalila, but Mwamuna Samalila. But that's the thing. The song is actually saying, from the time when you're young, people say, hey, Mwamuna Samalila, and then you go in school, you fail, you have your ups and downs. There's always hazing in schools where people make fun of you. Shani, I'm sure all of us have walked out of school with 5 nicknames, that we didn't ask for. And that's the thing. And now the pressures of but it's different for us. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a girl can be in her father's home and people are saying, no, I think you're old enough to get married. You can't be in your mother's home and someone says, you go and get married. They'll say, you don't have a job. You don't have it. No, you don't have a... So you have to have capital. You have to have this. You have to have what? In the world... pressure. Yeah, in a world where you're also... it's an equal world as well. You know what I'm saying? You're getting paid the same as the girl so you're expected to do more, right? So these are the stories that are not. When a man dies, usually it's who's gonna take over now? Who's next? So you have to be strong immediately. I love
the fact that you champion a lot of talk surrounding mental health, because that has been the thing on social media now. We've lost so many young people due to depression and just mental issues and people talking about how we need to open up. And some saying no, but when you open up, they use the very information to hurt you and break you down. What would be your word to a young person out there that is going through a lot and they're suicidal and they feel like, I should just end it all? Is there a hope? You've battled with depression.
I've battled with depression. I've almost killed myself, and I've said that to people before. And the thing about it is that you are stuck in that moment, mentally, in that moment. You can't see hope. The Word of God says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So when you're hopeless, it's a very dangerous thing, because you can't see something that you can't see any sign of light. You feel like, this is my situation, this is the end. This is how people perceive me. This is what I will be. And that is a dangerous place. I feel as well social media has contributed, because we have embraced other people's opinions to such a high degree. It really, really matters more than it ever has what another person thinks of us. These are people who are, and I can say the worst thing about you, and I'll just go and eat shima. Meanwhile, you are thinking about that thing the whole day. You know what I'm saying? Someone can say, you know what I'm saying? You just make noise when you sing. So those things, you're right? And that person, at the end of the day, is, every one of us is fighting for the same thing. A human being's greatest desire is to feel accepted. That's one thing I'll say to young people. The greatest desire mostly comes around wanting to feel accepted. The problem is, power is the ability to grant acceptance. So we tend to go towards what has power, right? So if attacking you is more popular, I will attack you for no apparent reason. If being negative is more attractive, I will be negative. And that's what you're finding now on social media. It's not even that someone hates you. It's just that it's a trendy thing to not like you. It's something that's people are saying, nice song, oh, you look great today. Now if I say that, manja kan sapato, I want to stand, I want that acceptance. You see what I'm talking about? So at the end of the day, at the value, the cost of that, the value of that is what we don't understand. What is the value of that acceptance? What is the value of those likes? And that is a dangerous thing to have. The value of those likes sometimes takes away more than what we're willing to give. And you know, the things that sometimes I've seen people approached, I've had people say something about me online, and I'll meet them in person. No, none of them have ever said it to my face. No, and you know what the story always starts up? No, I'm a big fan. I'm like, but how? You see?
I just wanted you to respond to my comment.
Exactly, right? So I wanted your attention. I wanted your acceptance. So, because you didn't give it me, so I turned it into negativity, just so I can be recognized. Again, the same thing. I want acceptance, but now I want it through hating you. And it doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. You don't need my acceptance, right? You don't need my acceptance, and neither do you need the acceptance of people out there. The Word of God says that Jesus calls us, he says we're accepted in the beloved. And I feel like that's a very valuable thing. In Matthew chapter 9, when Jesus is asked, why do you sit around tax collectors and sinners? Like, why are you accepting these people? You see, the Pharisees knew that Jesus was from the time Jesus was 12. You know, he's always associated with people of high faith, right? So, and now he's sitting with tax collectors and sinners. And he's well known because Jesus is a teacher, he's healing people. So they're like, Jesus, you could be around better people. You know what I'm saying? It's bad for your image. But Jesus says, those who are well have no need of physician, but those who are sick. The same people you don't like are the ones I'll accept. And that's one thing that you have to understand is that we preach the gospel, and that's what this is all about. The gospel is that the fact that we're accepted by God.
True.
Not because of anything we had to do, but because of who Jesus is. That's who God is. That's his nature. And so when you're young and you're feeling like, oh, people have rejected me, you don't need people's acceptance to feel a sense of value. You are valuable because God loves you and he cares about you. And that's what he found worth dying for. And if this message is not shared, you will see more and more young people lose their self-value because they were seeking it through the eyes of others. Sometimes it happens. I mean, we counsel a lot of young people. Sometimes it happens because something that your mom said. These are people, you can't leave their home, but your mother's always saying negative. People are saying, oh no, you should, men, like, you know, we get this thing, men should talk to their spouses. Sometimes it's your spouse who's got the worst, most negative things to say about you. And then but you're still the provider. You still have to show up at work the next day. You are the CEO, but kunganda, you know what I'm saying? You're reduced to this. So these are the things that we find these are things people are battling with. When you find that a lot of men commit more suicide, it's because they aren't unexpressive which means it begins in the mind. They are thinking a lot more than they're saying. Now the question is, what are those thoughts? The idea that men are always just thinking of one thing. The problem is they're thinking about serious issues. And so if you're thinking about serious issues, if you now have no outlet, that's a very dangerous place.
True.
We need more places. We need more neutral places where people can share their hearts. We need more, as well as the church as well. I think the church has lost a lot of trust because as well, you know, church gossip is also sometimes at an all-time high. So many times people go for help. You go for help, next thing, my friend, this is the topic.
Guys.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not helpful. And we lose trust. And then people say, you know, I stopped going to church because of this. I stopped going to church because there was no one I could trust. And those are institutions that, in fact, should value trust, should tell people that, listen, it doesn't matter who you are. You know, there's no shame in coming. You know what I'm saying? Not
Awesome.
everything should be exposed. Not everything is for sharing. Not everything is for a prayer point. You know what I'm saying? No, some certain things should be just talked about. And if you assign it to one pastor to be able to have a one-on-one, then do that. You know what I'm
Awesome.
saying? Or whatever your system, but it has to be of a system of trust.
Okay.
So people, I think, are just looking for more places they can trust, more people they can trust, and we're hoping that in this generation we're going to have that.
Yeah. You had an awesome collabo with Chandana K, man.
Yeah,
That was dope. It's a beautiful video, man.
Ah, thanks.
I love it. And I'm just wondering how, you know, like how it was at the shoot, you know. Because my favorite part is where he says, Mkate. Those guys are such a vibe, man.
Yeah.
How was the experience?
How was the experience?
Yeah.
It was very nice.
Okay.
I actually had a great time.
Yeah.
I had a great time shooting that video. I had a
Okay.
very good time shooting that video because they'd done everything, they'd arranged. They had my outfit. I was ready, you know what I'm saying? And you know, especially I think I'm great. Both of them are always respectful to me when we're talking. They're always open hearted. They're always very transparent. I will honestly say, very transparent. We have very interesting conversations when we do get a chance to.
Did you see the memes on social media?
Oh, I saw all the memes. I saw all the memes. I must have seen all the memes. Oh my God.
Yeah. What did you make of them?
Man, you know, being a comedian at the same time, I also just like, I understand.
This is good material.
Yes. I'm the kind of comedian I am. I'm more of, I like stand-up where I can say something to someone's face. So sometimes memes are like, you know, you're just like, anyway, this is how people do things nowadays. Like they'll make fun of you but using the, and sometimes I think sometimes people, you know, it's not to take things too seriously. Yeah, because at the end of the day, sometimes people meme you. Sometimes your own friends will send you like, why are you like? And I think that's a good thing because people have come to understand that I have a good sense of humor. So they'll send me that stuff like, wait, did you see this guy goat singing? So I'm just like, man, it's fun.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But there's some people who ask to say, is Abel Chungu Musuka still a gospel artist?
Is he still a gospel artist?
Yeah.
I've never stopped being a gospel artist.
You've never stopped.
I've never stopped being a gospel artist. And I think, you know, so what I always try to tell people, like I've done like I did 4 projects from 2012. So there's Worship of the Love Revolutionary, Love Unleashed the Deluxe, then those Love Revolution. So all of that was basically like a trilogy in terms of what I was trying to create a storyline, right? So I try to create my albums in the way that I create like a movie, you know, like it's one connected thread in what it's all talking about. So now we're entering into a phase where we're doing this thing called Kingdom. So I think what ended up happening was it was the success of extra time that I think a lot of people, because no one ever asked whether I was still a gospel artist when I did Ichtemwiko, because I guess Ichtemwiko was on the same album as
the worship
Love Unleashed,
songs,
So people were like, oh, because I would present everything as an album, right? So I'd never ever released a single, just like, oh, here's a single, and it's not leading to an album, it's nothing, it's just a single. And if you remember in 2018, my last album was Love Revolution, and I said I'd stop doing music. And
why did you stop? Why did you?
I was tired. I was tired, mentally, spiritually. I needed time. I needed to rethink. I didn't want to do the same thing that I was doing over again. You know, it takes a lot to make the projects that I make. Like it took me 3 years to finish the first one, the first album. So it was a lot. But it wasn't. You always kind of battling a terrain where it's almost like you every time you get in, it's like you're going through a rough patch, because the idea was always that. In fact, the question was always like, is this gospel music? And the fact that people hated where I would sing it sometimes. So when we do the beer festivals and things, and the same songs that would sing in church are the same ones we do at these events. And I think it was also a lot of people didn't understand what it was like seeing someone who's a gospel artist but hit what they call mainstream.
So would you ever
Yeah.
get people come to you at these festivals, the beer fests, telling you I gave my life to God?
Yeah. I
People
mean, the
would
first time we
literally
even
change.
did Oktoberfest, man. The first time we did Oktoberfest, one of my friends, like, guy trying to minister to for like a long time, came backstage and he was just crying. He was one of the organizers. There's a guy who came up to me. I still remember the story. Even comes to me and says, "I left home yesterday. I had a fight with my wife. I hit her. I jumped in the car and I just came out here." And he says, "Thank you." And he starts, and we prayed. I prayed for like 12 people backstage at the beer festival, right? So, but the thing is, and I think this is what happens is, so anyway, I was getting down to that part, right? So, so I'm done with these projects. Then we're doing this, like it was a project, me, B-Flow, and a bunch of different artists. And that was the first time I had ever really gotten a chance to chill with KB. So KB was recording at his studio. So I went to his studio. That's where we're doing this unity song for artists. And then I said, "Hey, play me some beats." And the first beat he played me was the Extra Time beat. And I just started singing the chorus. And he's like, "Yo, that's a really dope chorus." I'm like, "Give me a week. Let me write this." And when I started writing that song, I infused a lot of different biblical perspectives and teachings that I wanted people to know. One of the things that I realized was there's a lot of people not sharing their stories. People not sharing. So when people say God, love songs, secular music, love songs, it's because the narrative of love songs has always been told by secular artists. But meanwhile, when I go to church, everybody wants to get married under God's eyes. Everybody wants God in their relationship. So then I was like, so does God come at the altar? Or is he in your relationship as you're dating? Does that mean God doesn't care about people who are dating? Right? Is that like God there's no music that's suitable for that situation? There's no Christians who just want to spend quality time. They know just pure music. Like there's no sound. Is everything, because when you go into the mix of music, I'm not saying that every secular artist makes music like that, but the majority of it, she's shaking it and whatnot, and girl do this, and I'm like, but that's not it's not something that as a believer you like really want to play. You know what I'm saying? And I've been to, again, weddings where they're like, oh, we don't play secular music, right? So I said, but you're here celebrating a relationship. So the truth is, at the core of a community is a family. And the family always starts with two people.
True.
So what do? You strengthen the two people. You strengthen the romance that two people need to have. And that song, Extra Time, started with the story that I was working on at the time of two people who wanted to divorce. So it was basically, that was what inspired that song, because it was basically saying, like, we've tried all this, how to this and try to, but why don't we, let's say you reach the end, and I remember the thing that they said is, we've reached the end of this. So then I thought, like a football game, if you're playing football,
Extra time.
yeah, 90 minutes is done. If the ref wants to blow, if it's like, what's his name? Jessica wants to blow at 85, his ball is done. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
When he blows 90 is well. Whatever they add is just like, okay, let's just see if anything happens, right? And if it's a game, it's intense, let's say it's a final, it's wild in those last. It's like we're playing with all our hearts. The game that was given to us was 90 minutes and we failed to score. In these last moments, what are we going to do differently? And that's what it means, right?
Yeah.
And even like those extra, sometimes after the game's over, they had that extra time, that extra 30 minutes before penalties. So this is what extra time means. It's somebody who's saying, I don't want to play any games. And which is what I think any Christian person who is single
should say.
Saying is like, I don't want to play any games. I want something serious. I want to know if you're feeling something serious. if I told you my weakness, would you keep it a secret? It was from a pastor who told me one time, he says, loyalty for a man is protection of his weakness. So I needed to add that, because the thing is, a lot of guys I deal with always say the women exploit their weaknesses. The women, when they allow someone into their life,
Like
that
Samson.
person will use that weakness against them. So it was like, are you able to honor this weakness that this man has, and at the end of the day, like honor him in the sense that protect him? So he's asking this question: if I told you my weakness, would you keep it a secret? You know, then at the end, he's basically saying vows. Ungasunge, mutima wanga. Would you accept my family? These are important things. Would you, if I,
very
the same
biblical if you
things
ask
that,
me.
yeah, the
It's
same
very
things that you're
biblical.
told in vows, right? Do you, to love and to hold, for rich or for poor, you know what I'm saying? All those things are elements. But if you are of a perspective, of religious perspective, that no, say anything just to do with love songs is secular. That's when you just come and secular music number, and you miss what God is. It's basically like why certain people can't give you any revelation from Songs of Solomon, because they don't know how to interpret.
Yeah,
You
like
see what I'm saying? But it's in the
bypass
Bible.
this book. Let's go ahead,
You know
go
what
to
I'm saying?
Jeremiah.
You know?
I know the plans I have for you.
You know?
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. But it's a beautiful book. I've read it over 3 times now.
You know?
It's an amazing book if you read it from that perspective. And I totally get your love songs.
Yeah.
And I pray that more people get to do that. But quickly, before we get to run, are you working on an album? How
Yes,
far
I am.
so
Yes,
far?
I am. Yeah. So we are.
When is it out? When is it out?
I would say the safest. The safest would say August.
Wow.
The safest as in
That's
I
good
can say.
enough for us. We'll wait.
Yeah,
We'll wait.
because it's such a big project. I even announced. I told you, but I wasn't lying. I said we're done like 40 songs. Yeah, so
That's a
far,
lot.
and that is a lot of songs, and it's a lot of. This is like with instruments and what. So we just dropped a new song called Imperfect, and we wanted people to be able to understand that the artistic sound and what levels we're willing to go to share this kind of music.
Okay.
So we did a great video. I think we've even people. It's a very musical album, and that's a tough thing, especially when with an audience, because at times as an artist you don't know how people are going to receive it, because sometimes people can expect your album to sound like Extra Time. Then you have another ground, but people are like, no, we want the worship songs. But it's like, listen, it's going to be music, it's going to be biblical, and at the same time, we're going to cover a lot of different topics and things that people have gone through and whatnot.
August.
And
We're holding your word to it, man.
No. We're gonna
Awesome.
give you the album.
Awesome. So as we close, I want you to look into that camera and get to introduce your latest video.
Okay, hi, I'm Abel Chungu Musuka. I'm here on Gospel Cruise. I'm having a great time with Mr. Yellow Dove. What would Jesus do? My man. All right, so, and he's got a dope jacket, which hopefully I'll leave the studio with before it's done. But this is a new single, new song called Imperfect. Yeah, I almost forgot that. This is called Imperfect, shot by Traffic Pictures, and it stars my good friends Sam and Lydia, and I hope you guys like it, because if you won't, you hurt my feelings, but Jesus loves you still more. All right, here it is.
It's the gospel